If you wanted to know what the national debt is, it's simply the sum of all the deficits from which we subtract whatever portion of all those deficits the government has paid back. Because when the government borrows to finance a deficit, it has, of course, the legal obligation eventually to pay that money back. The U.S. Treasury borrows on behalf of the federal government and promises to pay back in 10 years this bunch of borrowing, in 30 years this much of the borrowing. And so there are different maturities of the national debt. Here's the most important thing, though. Why does the government go up and down? Why doesn't the government just borrow just enough to pay all the salaries? And in fact, why isn't taxes enough to do what we want a government to do? Is it because of some crazy tendency for the government to just get bigger and bigger, as if it were obsessed by some demon? You get that out of the libertarian story a little bit. I found that a very dissatisfying and inadequate answer. As I watched the government spending go up and down, as I watched the government taxes go up and down, varying from one presidential regime to another, from one Congress to another, it became clear that there was something going on in the economy that made deficits happen. When we come back after the break, since we're close to the end of the first half today, I'll be talking about what exactly makes the deficit go up and down and why that matters in your life and mine. Before we jump into the second half of today's show, I wanted to thank you for your very generous response to our fundraising efforts this year, and in particular in the last couple of months. And in part responding to that, we are extending the availability of our limited edition, linen-covered, hardcover version of Understanding Capitalism.